We're here on another Tuesday night on my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond. This is episode 65 already. I know we've been off a little bit this summer. A lot of stuff going on right now, and I don't know how many more episodes I'll have this year, but we have a special episode tonight. We have 4 people standing by via phone. I think that's a first in our podcast history here. So we're going to try to do that, and hopefully it goes well. We have a lot to cover tonight with the Barringer family from Illinois, Mike and Kathy, and of course their 2 sons, Brandon and Tyler. So this is episode 65, the Barringer family. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hello. There they are. There they are. So, okay, Mike, you check in. You say hello first.
Yeah.
You're the patriot. Yep. Now, Kathy, you kind of coordinated all this with me, so you say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, who's the oldest? Brandon?
Yes, I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. And then Tyler, you're the youngest.
That is correct.
How many years in between you two?
Tyler was born 94. I was born 1990, so...
4 years, about 3-4 years?
Yep,
Your mom should know. She was there, right? So
3.5.
Tyler, you're the tallest?
I am the tallest. That is correct.
So you're the one I seen in Illinois at the Futurity this year? Was that you?
That'd be correct. That'd be correct.
Yeah.
There with the fiance and I, with the boutique trailer / tax supply business down there as well.
Right, that was cool. Yeah, I didn't even know that was her trailer, or anything about it till you mentioned that to me. So that's a cool deal. So Kathy, you actually started in POAs as a kid, right?
I did. I showed K&M Wakalinda. She was registration number 892, so that dates me quite a bit. She was like 15 when I got her.
Wow.
She'd already been a reserve international halter champion. She was already trained. The Mox family in Michigan had her. And Ruth Pecoy says she always could remember the day Wakalinda walked. It was rainy and muddy at Waterloo, and I said it must always be that way. And then I ended up with... we had some of George Hubbard's ponies. Hubbard's Watch Charm was one of them that was pretty famous. We also had Raz Poker the First that used to tie Ream Sourdough one year at the International all the time in timed events that my sister rode. And we had, my little stud, King's Powwow.
Okay.
It was the sire of one of the ponies that the Van Horn kid, or the Beasleys had. I don't remember which one. But anyway, he was a little stallion. He looked like Coco Yazzie, and every time we go somewhere, they get picked up.
Really?
But it was a cute little timed event pony. But he would have probably done the all-round, except my family kind of specialized early in life.
Okay. Where did you grow up then?
Right here in Decatur, Illinois.
You did grow up in Decatur. Okay. That's cool. And that's where you guys still are, in Decatur?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Wakalinda was bred to Syracuse number 2, and we ended up with eventually getting that little pony.
Okay. That's cool. Well, we are live, so I'm seeing some people. Somebody said hi, Kent, and then Tracy said hi, Kent. I'm not sure if eCam is working. All this technology. I don't know if that's where. And then somebody just said, where are you, Kent? But I can hear you guys fine. Larry Yoakum is joining, it says. So hopefully people can see all this, because we're going to get into some deep history here. So you guys, Mike, are you from Decatur originally too?
Yeah, Water Mountain. She lived on the north side of town, and I lived on the south side of town.
You lived on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah, I was on the other side of the tracks. I lived in Macon, just south of town. I'm only 20 miles from where I was raised. And
okay, cool.
We didn't get very far from home.
Is Macon, is that where Mosers were from?
Yeah, well, the Macon area, yeah.
Yeah, the Macon area, yeah. So for those newer to POAs, Decatur ended up a huge town in POAs. It'd be, if you think of towns and POA people living in areas, Decatur's right up there in the history of POAs. So, but a lot of it were showers, and people maybe stabling their ponies. You guys actually were breeders from Decatur, so that's pretty cool. But you showed too. So what year did you guys get together, Mike and Kathy, and start together in POAs?
I've always had a POA in the barn ever since I was a youth. And my first POA came when I was about 7.
Okay.
And then I signed up with POAs. We bought yours truly when I was pregnant with Brandon. We had planned to make him a lead line walk trot pony because he was so cute and be small.
Right.
And we came to the Illinois State Fair, and what was his name?
Web Parlier.
Web Parlier said to Mike, he showed him in Halter, he goes, that is the cutest little pony, and I've looked at a lot of POAs. I think that one should be a stud. And Mike goes, he said, we're gonna gild him. And he said, why don't you breed that little quarter horse mare that your wife used to show to him and see what you get? And the rest is just the big time was the baby that hit the ground.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, well, yours truly had one of the greatest necks ever put on a small stallion. You know, he just had that long, beautiful neck. He had a nice head, too, and was balanced. We're looking at a picture of him now with some other pictures. But, yeah, he was bred nice. You know, it's tough pants, and Doc's tough dude. So he was bred to be a POA for sure.
One of the things that we were spoiled with a lot of the Truly babies is we never had to sweat their neck. Yours truly had a sweat, tight, Truly Big Time did not. Truly Loaded with options. It was just like other people would be sweating necks, and we'd be like, oh, we don't have to do that.
Don't have to do that. Well, he definitely, there's some of those you're talking about. He definitely had that great neck, and he did throw that neck too. Yeah. So again, people that are newer to POAs, if you go through magazines and see Truly this, Truly that, most of them are from yours truly, who we're talking about. And that's the stallion that kind of got things going. It's funny, you guys were going to have him as a little gelding. He would have made a cute little gelding, but the POAs would have been without a lot of winners if you would have gelded him. So
Yeah, he'd have been a fabulous walk trot. He could have maybe been that we owned at one time too, with the temperament that he had.
Right. I remember little Joe T, you know, he started out in Minnesota, and I was showing a baby for Jackie Guthrie in Illinois, where we just were at Gordyville. That was in 95. And I was scouting out all the babies, and I see this baby-sized POA, you know, like a football field away. So I walk over to see him, and it's you guys. And as soon as I get, 10 feet from him, I'm like, what is this? This isn't a baby. And then I realized who it was. I didn't remember he was that small, little Joe T. But you guys had him for quite a while for the kids, didn't you?
Probably about 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Because he had already been stress foundered by the time we'd gotten him. And, yeah, he'd been around, but he was a great pony. And Brandon was the little guy that was showing him at that show when we first met you.
Right. Brandon was showing him then? Okay. All right. Yeah, because he would have been 4 or 5 years old, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember we had a conversation, because I told you I got one of my first sales catalogs from the person that consigned him in 77. His brother was our next door neighbor, which was a mile away, out in the country. And then his nephew ended up being our farrier for a long time. So yeah, it's a small world. But so then the kids went on showing. Kathy or whoever can jump in here, talk about some of the accomplishments. I know both boys did well.
So we started with Truly Big Time, and as a weanling, we hauled him, and he ended up first in the nation. Yours truly ended up first in the nation that year. And then I showed him JPFC, and Brandon was riding Little Joe T. Brandon can tell you about what happened next.
So Little Joe T, he was definitely one of those great little ponies out there. He was one that got on and off at the milk crate. Dad could be feeding. You'd be out there in our indoor arena. We were lucky enough to have an indoor arena, and you could ride all winter on him. Unfortunately, about 5 days after I turned 5, he actually passed away.
Oh, no.
And the only horse that we had in the barn that was close to, the way Little Joe T looked was Truly Big Time.
Okay.
And at that time, Ty was, what was he, 92, 93 model. He was only three years old. And I said, I'm gonna start riding Ty. And that didn't go over too well with my mom. She thought, it just went from this 20-year-old horse now to, you're going to ride a 3-year-old that's, all trained up and ready to go. So
right.
That was my foray into saying, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. A lot of sleepless nights and worrying, is that really going to happen for me? From my parents' perspective, then eventually getting to show Truly Big Time or Ty.
Right. And how big did he end up being? Truly big.
He was a medium-sized
Medium?
gelding.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Compared to like your the one we're talking about, little Joe T, he was what, 46 inches, right? Or I mean, he was a tiny POA. So, or
Yeah.
47, whatever. He wasn't a 50 or a 51 inch. He was way smaller than that. Yeah, that's a big jump. And then a young one compared to a been there, done that, deadhead older pony. So.
Yep. And at that time, truly big timer Ty, as we called him, was, doing the JPFC, doing the pleasure, and that, luckily I was able enough to ride him. But then later on, we actually were blessed to get Wapiti Glory bars to show me a little bit more why I didn't jump off into the deep end so much with such a young one.
Right. Wapiti Glory bars. I know Kathy can talk a lot on that one. That one really helped you guys' program and the confidence for the kids, and that's still a special POA to you, isn't it, Kathy?
She sure is. In fact, she's very next to your back in the field, and she is also significant in that we have a little broodmare that carries the yours truly blood and the Wapiti Glory Boars bloodline, and we were fortunate enough to be able to cross that with Mighty Mouse and give us Minnie Mouse.
Right.
So, the little filly we showed. So, yeah.
That's the one that won the 2-year-old fillies. We'll see her picture later on. That's that beautiful filly, 2-year-old.
It kind of goes full circle there.
Right. You guys brought those bloodlines all the way up through. That's what's so cool. You guys have been in it a long time, and you're adding horse bloodlines all the time, but you still kept to your roots. That's one of the reasons I'm talking to you tonight, because you still got some of the same stuff that you started out with. So.
Well, and Glory was ahead of her time as far as movement. She was real flat up front.
Right.
And then she was very talented. She could win versatility. Not that Brandon ever really wanted to run. he would jog and lope, but he would run more than Tyler. Tyler always wanted to save his with pleasure ponies. He was like, I'm not running mine and ruining it. I want to ride pleasure, and he still does. He's still like that today.
Right.
So
which kid got into the reining really big time? No pun intended. Was it both of you, or which?
Brandon wanted to ride reiners, and Truly Big Time stepped up to the plate in a very big way for us.
Okay.
He was sent to Terry Thompson. While Brandon was riding Wapiti Glory bars, Truly Big Time went to learn how to do reining.
Okay.
And it's not just a 1-year jaunt to learn how to do reining to NRHA style.
Right.
And Brandon can tell you what it felt like the riding.
No, I mean there's nothing like riding a true reining horse. He learned to do the stops and spin, and that crack back on a rollback. I mean, it's like no other feeling. And he was one of the only ones that has really gone on, and he was quite successful with it. First time out, he ended up winning as a rookie horse, and in their breed, it doesn't matter if you're a paint Arab or whatever you are. It's all about the skills, and
right.
He definitely. And it was a good time. We had a few other POAs that were trained up to do reining, and 2 of those actually went on. One went to France, and the other one went out to California.
Well, that's cool.
Was mine, one was Tyler's, and later on in life, I fortunate enough to be able to get a quarter horse to do some of the HOHA stuff, and actually was able to have Tyler right alongside to show and qualify for Youth World too.
Oh, wow. HOHA stuff. That's cool. Yeah.
Little known fact, little trivia thing for you. But yeah.
I thought so. I just didn't want to mess it up. As long as all 4 of you are on the phone here, I want you guys to tell the story. So I thought you guys did some quarter horse stuff because you liked reining and you were good at it. And that Truly Big Time had a big stop, for a POA. You can tell the ones that just have it and the ones that have been trained both. He was trained right, but some of these reiners and POAs, they're bred to do everything, but they just kind of go through the motion. They're not a true reiner, even for POAs. But
and that's my mom, talking about yours truly being bred to her mare and that Leo San 3 bars. I mean, that goes back to the foundation, and there's a lot of the reining horses that have that similar bloodline.
Right.
But then we also bred. We also had two-lead Cowboy Cadillacs trained up to do reining too. And I know Doc Nemmers wrote us a really nice letter saying, "I've really noticed how well trained your animals are, your ponies are." And we thought that was really sweet of him to write us a letter.
Well, that is cool. Yeah.
Cowboy Cadillac is the other one that the one that went to France. And the funny thing is, Cowboy Cadillac was originally Brandon had truly playing to win, that he drug up to the show pen for us as a weanling because he insisted to lead him up to show in the futurity. He's the only kid that led a weanling to the futurity show pen at Des Moines. And of course, I rode him in JPFC, and then somebody wanted to buy him because he was so quiet. And Mike said, "Well, Tyler or Brandon, you can have any pony you want, any of them, if you sell that one." Brandon chose truly a Cowboy Cadillac. And unbeknownst to Brandon and I, Mike and Chuck Patterson were talking at the International up in Wisconsin, and Chuck Patterson was going to take a Cowboy Cadillac home.
Okay.
And he was going to pick him up at the end of the season, and Brandon got wind of it, and he cried almost every night, and we had to call Chuck. And Brandon, there was going to be Chuck Stallion,
right.
And Chuck and Brandon and I had to have a conference call on the phone, and Chuck said that, he goes, "You know what, I'll let Brandon just keep him, but he has to promise me he'll make something special out of him." Brandon goes, "I will," and he sure did.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool.
That was a cool story. That changed history for sure. Yeah. Well, that tells you it was good if people wanted him, to use him as a stallion too. So.
Well, and then he won the reining futurity twice, and they do the JPFC stuff. But I was the only mom that was riding a little reiner that my kid was coaching me before I went in. And here's this little Brandon that's probably 11, 12, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right? That's funny.
Because he'd be riding him at home,
Right.
He ended up being sold after the affiliate finals, the NRHA affiliate finals.
Okay.
We had gelded so Brandon could finally ride him and show him at an NRHA show, and
right.
That was what he ended up selling right away.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't for sale, but the judge called later after the show was over, like 2 weeks later. I guess the window of time when he could call and
right.
And he said he'd buy all three of them. At that time, we had Truly Big Time, KBC Nifty Kid, and Truly Cowboy Cadillac all trained up. And Tyler was the original owner of KBC Nifty Kid, and he can tell you about her.
She was lazy when I was young.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have enough leg at the time, but wanted to ride reiners just like Brandon did, looking up to him. And I just couldn't keep her going at a lope at the time because I was transitioning from PS Cinnamon Chip, the big white pony,
right,
that was even larger than large, and it was one of those things that I'd take PS Cinnamon Chips to the reining horse shows. I wasn't showing her because she wasn't trained up, but I was, kind of bumming around, riding out there with the reiners and, spinning, and she would just go the exact same slow speed, and I'd be fencing, and she'd go down there, and she'd trickle down to a stop, and no dirt would fly. I'd just be like hopscotching into it, and they'd hoop and holler and whatnot. So that's what wanted me to, get a reiner going as well.
Right.
And that was KB's kid. It was a junior pony that I was ready to step up to for 9 to 12, but she was a nice horse, and she was trained up to do it just as well, but it just didn't work out with the timing of my growth spurt and leg power and all that sort of stuff to keep them going. Because as you've heard, Brandon and I both were fortunate enough to have, old, reliable horses. For some reason, Mom always had more than what she needed in the barn. Not that many of them were going down, but just she always had a backup plan.
Well, do you think you think that was a plan? She had you guys well covered. So, yeah, that you should feel lucky, you two, that she always had something there for you.
So we're definitely fortunate, but also didn't enjoy all the stall cleaning.
Right. Well, you got to remember your mom and dad might have used you two a little bit too to promote their ponies, so because it didn't hurt, that's for sure. So it didn't hurt at all for you two to show them off. So.
No, those we had a lot of those barn ponies that didn't get the spotlight, but were instrumental in making, helping us get to where we're at. And then also, we're great ponies in the breed as well.
Right. Right. Well, Mike, you've been kind of quiet. You're kind of the face of the family. You show a lot in halter, especially lately. You're always out, but you did even a long time ago, so let's hear from you a little bit.
Well, it's kind of one of those, if it wasn't for Kathy in the background and the boys in the background, I wouldn't get the spotlight in the arena.
Right. Takes a village.
So, the comment was Kathy around? And sure, you will never see me show without Kathy with me.
If you're there, Kathy's there, right? If you're showing, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm around showing, Kathy's around. If Kathy's around, I may not be, but I can assure you, I won't be in the arena without her. I mean,
she makes sure you look good.
Yeah, she's the picky one that gets things ready, and we've kind of got a unique situation between the two of us. She has an eye. She knows what she's looking at. She knows the pedigree, and she will, when we've done this, as we went along to buy different mares and things of that sort, she goes, what do you think of this one? What do you think of that one? And I'm the type of a person, I walk up to the pen and I take the first impression that I see. And we've had some pretty good discussions sometimes because I'll just walk up and go, no. And she's going, oh, but this, but that, but this. And I'll say, I didn't stutter. No.
The funniest thing is we bought Classic Fury, and he goes, why are you looking at that big old gelding for? I go, because you need that kind of a mare to raise some babies for you. And she was Miss Gold Cadillac's half-sister, which Miss Gold Cadillac had been a show pony that we used at, so was Classic Fury, but they were both half-sisters by Freckles Fury.
Right.
And Mike goes, why are you looking at that gelding? I go, that's a mare. He's like, oh, you could have fooled me. Anyway, we ended up bringing her home, and she did raise some nice babies for
She raised some very nice babies, but I can see what Mike meant. I don't have a picture of her up, but she was very chunky.
She was one that Brandon showed in lead line. She's real super quiet.
Yeah, but she had a body on her. She was a tanker. Yeah.
And then we were, speaking of tanks, we were really lucky enough that we ended up with Avatar's mother, Driftwood Misfire, who'd been a futurity pony.
Right.
And she produced Truly Loaded with Options, which was yours truly's very first international champion, because Truly won international champion in Oklahoma City, I think, in 92, and Opie won it in 94 at Shelbyville, Tennessee.
I remember that, yep. He was marked real pretty, yep. I remember when you guys got that mare, because I said you were lucky to get that mare. She was already up in age, but yeah, she was a heck of a baby. Then, of course, she was the mother to Avatar and Surefire, and she was a good mare. Yeah.
Yes, she was. Now,
she was very...
Just unfortunate we got one foal is all we could get out of her.
Well, she had a problem, too. But...
Yeah. So who picked that one, Mike? Kathy or you?
That was a unique because the breeder ended up contacting us through Dell and Jill Ellsworth.
Oh, okay.
So, being a really nice deal, they knew we had a small stallion, and they knew that the mare needed a job.
Okay.
They didn't know if she was so big. I didn't think she'd fit in a 2-horse trailer.
When we she had
a straight load trailer, and she was so wide.
Yeah, but when we bought her, she was an ID.
Yeah.
When I took her.
Oh, yeah.
When I took her to the international with Opie, I put permanent papers on her, and I showed her in broodmare halter, and she was a mother that took care of her baby. And when I stood in the halter class, there was somebody taking bets that I would lose her because she would stand and freeze, and when she would bell her, she would jump.
Oof.
And I think that, I know that was the last time the mare was shown, but yeah, I showed her in broodmare halter, and it wasn't fun with her.
Well, when she was born, she was a game changer. She did go over for the 54, but you know, she was ahead of her time, and Ray Peets that bred her pushed the limit like that, but he raised some really nice POAs by doing that. You know, sometimes you got to push the boundaries, and then if you hit, it's like hitting for a home run, you know, and if you strike out, but look, it wasn't a strikeout because she was still be able to use as a broodmare, you know, and then there came Avatar, and then the colt you guys got, and yeah, but she was so ahead of her time in 75. I mean, it wasn't even funny, you know.
And we're forever thankful to Ray Pete, you know, and contacting Ellsworth to get a hold of us, and they pretty much coordinated everything. So
right.
the rest is history. And then that little gelding, Truly Loaded with Options, went on to become a Supreme Champion. And Lindsay Pennington, it was her first JPFC pony.
Wow.
She world champion with him, and she even taught him how to drive as a 2-year-old. And then, but got him, creamed him. Then we bought him back for Tyler, and then he went. When Tyler won the junior pony, he said he was going to thought about selling him, and Korn stepped up to the plate, and they were like, "We want Opie." And the cute thing was, Dick Korn had really liked Opie as a weanling, so it went full circle there. We felt really good. He couldn't have had a better home.
Right. Boy, that got you guys out of the gate real fast too. You know what I mean? One of your first babies by yours truly, and bang, he goes and does that. So.
Well, and the funny thing was, well, Truly Big Time was first, and our firstborn baby. But when we went to Oklahoma, when yours truly won his very first international small stallion, the class had like 5 in it. And I didn't go up and watch the class, you know, because I was back at the stall. And they announced Mike won, you know, and I was like, whoa, I was back, you know, with Brandon. And later on, some gentleman came by and wanted to buy my broodmare, Truly Big Time, and the stud. And he's like, I really want to buy all 3. And we also had Chaos's Tiger's Lucky Lady, because we had planned to turn her into a broodmare, but Eula Gayweiler, she worked her magic and talked us out of that one.
Okay.
Because Brandon was showing her in lead line, and I was riding her around, you know, we couldn't show her in JPFC because we showed her in lead line at the time, so I pretty much disqualified her from that opportunity.
Right.
But anyway.
A gentleman come up and he said, I want to own this trailer load.
And we were like,
I said, and I was raised, my dad, you know, when I was young, anything I rode, my dad would sell. And I made a promise to the wife, anything my kids ride will never be sold until they say they want to sell it. And this gentleman, like I say, he was pretty persistent about it. And I said, it's real simple, sir. They can't be bought. And the interesting part is they're truly big time, especially truly big time. When we were at the reining shows and so forth, people, and Brandon can say this, would lay an open check in front of him and said, we want this animal. What's it take? And, you know, as we would say, there's 2 fools here and I'm walking away because he's not available.
Right.
Not. And, you know, as a breeder and a shower, you know, when you have people doing that, that's what you do it for. Is
but of course, yours truly also produced a lot of other champions, like Karen Cobbs showed Truly 1 in a Million.
Oh yeah, that was a great mare. Yeah.
Nat Harry's the one who showed her first and raised her pretty much, and then Karen Cobb got her, and then Dylan Payne showed Truly Zipping to the Top.
Yeah.
He became a Supreme Champion and a force to be reckoned with. He was also used for Special Olympics, and then Kim Turner and her family bought Truly Done It Right, which was our first time we met Turners, which was a great family. She ended up with JPFC wins, and then he went on to win Senior Hunter Under Saddle at the International, and then the Trout family bought her, and they won Senior Hunter Under Saddle with him. Not that he just was only a hunter under saddle horse, but I mean, he really. And then Cowboy Cadillac and Truly Picture Perfect and Truly Pre-Approved were all out of Miss Gold Cadillac, all through Palominos with a blanket. In fact, we even have to look a little bit when we look at pictures to see who's who.
Who's who? Yeah. Right.
Anyway, they could have been wonderful little driving team, two of them at least. And then we ended up with a little filly, which was homozygous, but we didn't know that at the time. And we ended up with cute little, truly a pink Cadillac. She ended up becoming Supreme Champion. She currently lives in Iowa with Cindy Hansen, who does very good with app horses, and they use her for a little 4-H horse. We've often times said we need to probably get that mare, raise a couple babies, but they're not eager to do that. Truly Zip and Array with Cole Hauser. Great story about those guys. One year at the International at Lake St. Louis, known to us, and then Harry wanted us to come and make sure we watched get a sire because yours truly won 2 times. And we walked up there, and unbeknownst to Mike and I, there's 3 boys out there with 3 truly geldings.
Wow.
Truly zipping to the top, truly zipping away, and no, it was truly loaded with options with Austin Korn.
Okay.
All 3 of them dressed alike. All 3 of them took their geldings in. And they were, they were aged geldings, but it was such an honor to have the youth want to do that for us.
Right, that was cool.
They loved ponies, so that was pretty cool. And we had Truly Made You Look, which was another one by Miss Gold Cadillac. She was a real pretty few spot Palomino.
Well, yours truly won Get a Sire a couple times, didn't he?
Sure did.
Yeah.
And then Truly Playing to Win, which is the one Brandon led up to the show pen as a young little boy, was probably one of Brandon's most favorite weanlings, and he's in McKenzie's farm.
Okay.
He's still
around.
him.
Yeah. Well, your guys' dispositions, you always had good-looking POAs, but the dispositions, I think, kind of set them apart. That's what...
You forgot the dog of the one that Brandon was going and lay down on, Mom.
That was Thomas.
Yep.
We named him Thomas the Tank. Brandon couldn't understand why we wouldn't name the pony Thomas the Tank. Because he was a tank. And at home, the pony's name was Thomas the Tank, and we had to talk Brandon into coming up with a name that would be one to show with. And he goes, truly winning.
Truly winning.
And I go, well, can we come up with something else? And he goes, Shining Time Station. Here's at the top of the tank. And we're like, well, how about Playing to Win? Okay, we'll do that.
But it was Thomas the Tank.
But his name is Thomas, and it's still Thomas, to this day. But
right. Well, that's cool. That's some cool
and then
stories.
There's a lot of other truly ponies out there, but Mike and I only usually bred 3, maybe 4 mares a year.
Right.
And so our list of point earners is probably pretty high compared to, in percentage-wise, because international champions, because we didn't produce that many, but we tried to produce quality, and we wanted to halter and ride both.
Right. And what you're still doing, you're still showing in halter, and you're still producing stuff that'll go on to ride. So that's why I think your guys' stuff stays popular. So, yeah. Well, this show is called Black Hand and Beyond, so we've covered the past. Now let's kind of talk about what's going on right now. You guys had an awesome futurity in Illinois. Again, Mike looked good out there. Kathy was behind the scenes. She was standing next to me a couple times. So
yeah. You saw what she's doing, telling me to get my feet together.
Right. In between telling me how they're bred, she's like, we went and got this mare here, and then we bred it to this stallion, and she's not talking about the mother, she's talking like the great grandma, but that's why Kathy and I get along so well. And then I'm following her, and then we took that one, bred it to this one, then we got that one, and then we went and bred to Mighty Mouse or whatever, or then we went and bred to Kissing the Girls, and I just love those stories because I'm eating it up while I'm watching you show, So.
Don't worry. Dad couldn't even figure out which tie and shirt and jacket he was supposed to put on. So, Mom had to dress. Otherwise, he'd been standing out there in his underwear, probably showing if he didn't know any better.
Oh, Tyler. Tyler has been really, really good help because, of course, Brandon is married and has 2 little boys, which we're going to have to get ready to show. But Tyler has gone to lots of the shows with us, and he keeps Mike and I in line. Don't laugh.
He definitely does, huh?
By the end of the week, I'm ready to check them back into their house and let them have their life again, and let myself have my own time. So.
It's like, it was fun, but okay, we got to move on now. The week's over.
Right.
Yeah, let's go back to our normal lives. That's funny.
But Tyler's really good about getting them to the ring with Mike, and you can always find Tyler on the sidelines because he's so tall.
Right.
So kind of nice.
Yeah, he come walking up to me, and at first I didn't know who he was, and then I kind of recognized his voice, and then I looked at him closer, and I said, I know who this is, but when you're 5'0", he's really tall, so.
Of course, we've outcrossed simply because we didn't raise very many huge Yours Truly babies. We've got a lot of them that were, 54 medium height. Occasionally we get some of them that reached the 56, but didn't seem like those stayed in our barn very long. Those got sold pretty quickly, and my boys rode, the 54 and under ones, seemed like. I think Opie's height card was a little bit bigger than 54, but I bet we could have probably gotten into 54. So that outcrossing was because we had big boys.
Right.
And we're lucky that we have Tyler's fiance, Emily, who's kind of mentioned, that would be a good one to cross with, too, because she knows the quarter horse industry.
Right.
So that's kind of a nice thing, too.
That's a nice contact to have, yeah. Well, speaking of that, we're looking at the 2-year-old filly here. I think you guys named her Minnie Mouse. I just love this filly. I liked him showing her out there. She just looked so nice. And this picture of her, she's just gorgeous. And tell us the story of her a little bit.
Now, how we come up with her is we got an NSPA book or a quarter horse book, and I seen the name of a quarter horse named Mighty Mouse, and when I looked at him, I told the wife, I said, I want to breed to him. I just like what I see, and of course, when I was a kid, I had a little pony that was about 40-some inches tall, and he had a big bald face and 4 white legs, and as a kid, there was a show called Mighty Mouse, and that was my pony's name, Mighty Mouse.
So I've got a special connection with that one.
I seen the name Mighty Mouse.
And you're like, wow.
Of course, it reminded me of my little pony that I had, and I said, I want to breed that to our little mare.
Truly outrageous.
And so, fortunately, matter of fact, we were headed to the Iowa Futurity, and I convinced Kathy to call the owners of Mighty Mouse and see if they would put him in the Iowa Futurity as we're driving up there that afternoon. And they put him.
You mean Breeders' Town?
Breeders' Town. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the time we got there, we had the lady talked into putting it into the breeding. And of course, her comment was, she said, if I'm doing it, you have to buy it.
No matter what. So we were like, oh, my gosh.
This could go for a lot of money, yeah, because he's well-known horse.
I kept going, and there was a couple folks there that were interested in him, too, but we ended up getting him bought, and then that's how we come up with Minnie Mouse.
And Minnie Mouse is tiny.
And then I told Kathy, I said, I want a Mickey Mouse.
So we've got Mickey, too, now.
And I've got a Mickey Mouse back at home here that looks like Minnie, the same color and everything.
Well, but he has a little
He's
blanket.
got a little bigger blanket, yeah.
Yeah, he has a blanket.
I can't wait to see him. I've seen a lot of pictures of him. So
he's very cute. And they have that disposition like Wapiti Glory Bars and Yours Truly, and I don't know, Mighty Mouse they say has a good disposition too.
Oh yeah.
They just really want to be your friend.
Right.
That's kind of a nice thing.
Well, I thought it was cool, that bloodline in POAs, because that is a big name bloodline, and I didn't know the whole story behind the pony Mike had as a kid, so that's a cool story. But I like that filly too. So I look forward to seeing her brother. So he's Minnie Mouse, the brother coming up, right?
Mickey.
Mickey, I mean Mickey. Yeah, this is Minnie the filly. Mickey's the boy, so he'll be a yearling next year.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, and then you guys did good with another 2-year-old at the Futurity. I got him on the screen now. So let's hear the story about him.
Well, we ended up.
Kiss
We
this.
ended
Yeah.
up. Now Tyler and Emily named him. Just kiss this, and the mare is kind of a unique deal. We bought a app mare and bred her to Primetime Zippo that Rick and Diane Rushing have, and Primetime Zippo's an own son of Scotch Bar Time.
Okay.
And we ended up with some more chocolate fleas. So it's kind of a cool deal. And then that mare is small. She's like 53 and a half, maybe 54 inches. Yeah. Anyway, she's not very big and real refined. And we bred her to Kiss and the Girls and ended up with Just Kiss This, and he hasn't disappointed at all.
So he's a full-blooded horse, but he's a registered POA too.
Right now, still within the height. His mother's
teeny tiny.
Is it? Yeah. So he could go show. I mean, he's eligible to do a lot of stuff, though. I mean, right? Yeah.
Because of that, and his temperament is just wonderful. I mean,
except when he bumped into something.
Well,
yeah, but
you would think he's a gilding the way he carries on right now as a 2-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him at the show, and I wasn't sure if you had gilded him or not, because you guys do gild some stuff. You know what I mean?
Somebody last year thought he was a filly because
yeah.
he's so refined.
He does have a refined look, that's for sure. So he's a son of the Corridors Kissing the Girls, but then he has what? Chocolatey, Scotch Bar Time, and DZ Weedo in him. Is that right?
Correct. That dam was a daughter of DZ. Well, the dam's mother was a daughter of Chocolatey and DZ Weedo.
Right. Okay. And then you bred that to a son of Scotch Bar Time, an Appaloosa son. Okay. So yeah, that's good.
More chocolate, please. But then we bred that same mare. Then she was supposed to get bred back to the girls, but there was a snafu there. So we ended up. We'd already bought a breeding to Extremely Hot Chips, and we ended up crossing her with Extremely Hot Chips, and we got in the hot seat.
I think I got a picture of that one somewhere.
He shrunk when we weaned. We were kind of disappointed with him because he shrunk during weaning. You can see he was nice big hips and big body, and then you just never know how they're going to take with weaning. But that's, Extremely Hot Chips is by Blazing Hot.
I think that's him there with the crooked blaze. Does the blaze go down over the nostril?
Yeah, little like a tornado point at the top.
Yeah. So he's a son of Extremely Hot Chips.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
And has frost, but Mike was like, he was looking so good. Mike's like, go ahead and get the LP testing too, just in case, because I don't want any complaints about his color. And then he struck on it.
Right.
You never know, but he is LP tested. We went ahead and did all that too, just to make sure.
Right. That takes the headache out of it for sure.
It's sure nice to be able to know that that's done.
Right.
And out of the. And then we also bred the mare that Tyler rode.
It's not Tyler's mare; it's Mom's mare.
No, I said the mare that Tyler rode. Tyler knows that I don't like to have a horse called Princess. So what does Tyler do? He calls her Princess.
Wow.
Yeah. He says, Princess needs this, Princess needs that. Anyway, we ended up buying this mare, little filly from Dean Damon. And we didn't even know what her name was when we bought her. We just knew she could lope. Her name's Dancing Above the Clouds.
Okay.
And she's by one of the last Boston McLeod mares. And she's out of a daughter of Rough and Tough. But on the bottom side of the dam is that old Dixie D-bar mare that Dean had.
Right, she was a good mare, yeah.
Great producer.
Yeah.
So we've been really fortunate with her. Mike showed her we went to the Congress one year to show. Tyler went to show, and he goes, "Okay, Dad, we came to show Holt. We came to ride Western Pleasure, and the mare's in Western Pleasure condition. And whatever happens to us, Mike goes and enters her in halter." Tyler goes, "You're going to be embarrassed. She's not going to do well. She's in riding shape." He ends up doing extremely well.
Won the class.
No, I think he got stuck. I don't know.
Is that the leopard with the big spot on the jaw?
Yeah, that's the leopard.
Yeah, we're
Anyway.
looking at her right now. She's reserve senior champion.
So anyway, he did really well with her, and Tyler was just kind of growling the whole time. He goes, "Oh, we'll never live this down," as we're sitting there. And the next year, then Tyler went back and he won. He ended up winning a class with her in Western Pleasure. I think he won non-pro.
I remember
but he
that.
won lots of other places. But she's super slow-legged mare.
Right.
And so she was in full to Sleepy Impulse, the app horse, and we ended up with a cute little few spot filly that it took a while to get some papers on.
Okay.
So she wasn't quite. She couldn't really go to the show this year, but everything's in line. She's named Fancy Like. We're hoping she's fancy like her mom and her dad.
That's a good name. So you got 3 babies at home right now?
We have the 3 weanlings right now.
Yeah, 3 weanlings. You have the Mickey Mouse and then Extremely Hot Chips, and this one's baby.
No. The filly that you're looking at is a yearling.
Okay. The one out of this mare is a yearling now.
The other filly that we have is Totally Bougie.
Oh, Totally Bougie. I got a picture of her. I think that's her right there.
Yeah, really cute. She's truly pre-approved, and she's out of A Daughter of Zip into Paradise.
Okay.
Now, Mom, you realize you can't give out all the secret weapons, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know how many people realize you've bred the Mighty Mouse, Extremely Hot Chips, Sleepy Impulse.
we gotta have some to pull out of the security next year.
Yeah, right. Well, it's called advertising, guys. It's just called advertising. So
Load the barn of what's out there. My goodness. So.
That's always been something that's been amazing. Is that there's always one in the wings waiting, and not everybody knows. Well, I will say one thing that we didn't cover is I think probably people listening to this who have never been to our place probably think this is 100-acre farm, and we've got ponies over a hillside. We got a hillside, but all this gets done on 10 acres plus Hager.
Right.
So I mean, we're doing this out in nowhere with hundreds of acres.
Right. So it's a lot of work too.
Not to mention when people go by, they're like, "Oh, you just have what's outside." Yep, sounds great. That's the case. So.
I think Mike kind of likes it that you guys have a secret surprise package waiting in the wings all the time, because it just does make it fun to.
Is when I at one point I was showing a lot of Colts. They said, "Well, you don't show any fillies." So I heard some fillies and went with the fillies, and they're going, "Well, what about geldings?" Okay, what about geldings? And there's one in there, truly done, or
Truly too done good.
Truly too done good.
Yeah.
He won a yearling, and one year the internationals here at the Flex is in St. Louis, and I told Tyler, I said, "I'm gonna take Bleep." And he goes, "Why are you gonna do that?" I said, "I'm gonna take Bleep and win another class with him." And like Bleep, too done good had been just running around out here, and so I get him cleaned up, kind of clipped. I take him to the show. It's Lake St. Louis, and I'm bathing on him and cleaning on him and one thing and another. And Tyler goes, "Why are you wasting your time?" I said, "It's like working with an antique car. You just got to polish and polish. Pretty soon it comes to the top, and it'll shine." And we stepped in the class, and we won. And I said, "See, you don't have to have young. You just got to have quality." And I took Blake back home and turned him back out after we won the age skills class with him. But, like I say, we've been fortunate enough to show colts, fillies,
No.
geldings, young, old.
Right.
You know.
And then of course we do have a daughter of Batman that we bred.
The boys are gonna say, "Shh, mom, shh, don't say
Oh,
anything."
you can't talk. You can't talk about that one.
You can't talk about that one. That one's secret surprise package.
Okay.
Let's go back to this 2-year-old stud here. Let's see. Let's find him. So, what are you gonna do with him? With Just Kiss This?
Well, the plan is my one jockey doesn't live next door to me anymore, Brandon or Tyler, moved to Indiana. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do with Kiss This. But my intentions is to get him broke, and it stays within. Right now he seems to be staying in without any trouble. Is to show him next year as a 3-year-old on some rail classes.
Oh, okay.
And we've never been the people that ride our 2-year-olds much.
Right.
We just haven't.
You just don't push the 2-year-olds, yeah.
We'll have them sometimes started, but we don't really push them as 2s.
Right.
Because we want them to be there, for the longevity.
That's right. Well, and you've proven that they've lasted.
And our kids, we have to admit, our rider's kind of tall, so we got to get.
Yeah.
Both of our riders are pretty tall, so we have to get them, get some body there before we can really ride.
Right.
But I would hope we get Kiss This, broke out, going, and maybe when he's 4 or 5, possibly breed some mares with him or something.
Right.
With us, the advantage with him, all of my small mares, I can cross him on every one of them because
they're not related.
Homozygous small mares to cross with him. So
right.
You take the pedigree that he has and cross it with the pedigree that we've got. I think he'd be a good cross with a lot of animals out there. And I kind of, our breed has a tendency, the tree gets a little straight sometimes, and
yeah.
I put a branch. I put a fork in the branch there. I think with him, possibly.
Right, you did. Yeah, he's got a lot of horse bloodlines for sure. Yeah.
And they're not large horses, and so with that, we can bring it in and keep our 56 and under, ponies with them.
Right. Right. Well, I think you're staying down pretty good with all that horse blood. They don't look overly tall at all. So.
Our dad just breed into that, own daughter Miss Gold Cadillac that nobody's ever seen too. That little leopard.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we do.
We just breed him.
What are you guys gonna do with Minnie Mouse? Keep showing her next year?
Mike says he's taking her out next year again. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I would.
It's just you got to get, you got to figure out who you're taking, and
right.
We didn't get to go to the International this year, or to the Congress. I still call it International.
Right, the Congress.
Outright for us this year to be able to go. So our one and only show this year was the Futurity.
Right. Well, you guys did good there. You got to come to Tulsa next year.
And we've been kind of doing the bigger shows anyway. If you look at where we've been, like the year Tyler rode, the years he was riding the Leopard mare, and we only went to the big shows. So
right.
That's just because of coordinating times off and people to feed and things like that.
It's tough when you have horses at home, for sure. Yeah, and bringing people.
And then we've got the little Really Want to Win that we've crossed on 2 mares. So
okay.
For next, we should get some babies by him. We've never ever had a homozygous stud around here.
Yeah.
we usually go. They have to be super good quality to get to be a broodmare or a stud on our farm.
Right.
And we just never really ever had a few spots. And Willie came along. Mary Hannigan we take our horses there, thanks to Mary. We have Minnie Mouse, and we have Just Kiss This because they go to her private farm, and that's where they get bred. But she named Willie Want to Win Dennis the Menace. And we thought that'd be a cute name for him. But anyway, he goes, we call him Dennis part-time and Willie part-time. Poor guy, he's probably going to have identity crisis.
Yeah, he's not going to know who he is.
But he's really balanced, and he's just going to be small.
Well, it
And
sounds
he's
like
already-
you guys have a lot of prospects still kind of hidden away. So,
That's part of why you have a barn, right?
right. So they're not out in the open.
I think that's the rule. If there's an empty stall, there's room for two more.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Right. Well, it seems like you guys don't have a problem finding good ones or breeding them. So.
Well, we pretty much, I mean, a lot of them are just homegrown right here.
Right. Yeah, you guys rarely buy them. I mean, like that leopard mare from Dean, but otherwise, and
Well,
then that Palomino gelding. But most of them is homegrown for sure. You guys raise most of your own champs.
And part of that is because we needed something big for our rider.
Right. And yeah. It seems
And
like
then-
no matter what you guys do, sometimes you get a little shorter ones. You're crossing to a lot of horses now, and you're still not really having height problems, which that's not a bad problem to have.
This old Cadillac never did produce big.
We were
And-
reading this.
Kristen Fear one day told us we needed to bring this old Cadillac to something bigger when we were up in Iowa one year at the Futurity. She's like, this. And then Terry Thompson told us, go big, go big,
He had
So Terry Thompson had Zipper Scotch Bar, Geronimo.
Okay.
He had, and he had told us back then he wanted us to breed this old Cadillac to him at that time. Years ago, and we're like, oh, that's just too big, that's just too big. He goes, seriously, you'll never be sorry. And we did not follow his advice.
what I know today.
And we should have.
Yeah.
We did not follow his advice because he was instrumental in getting truly big time trained for us.
Right. Right.
So, anyway.
Well, it worked out anyway with that. But yeah, you never know. Sometimes things you should do, but
Didn't go we went to the big horse back then. We should have.
right. But, well,
I guess we
guys,
should've-
this has been a lot of fun. You guys got anything you want to add? 4 people talking. It worked out. 5 people talking. It worked out pretty good, really. So.
It did work out okay.
Yeah, no, it's one of those I appreciate, doing this, Ken. And, we'll keep playing and keep coming up with something.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
We do have to let a few go though because Tyler,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Tyler can't ride. And Brandon's kids aren't old enough to really ride yet.
Well, that's why, you got those 2 up and coming babies, those 2 colts, one of those might have to go. But hey, somebody else go out and make them famous for you. It came off your farm. So.
That's what we got to do. We've got, 3 for this year and got 5. I've got 5 babies next year, which we've been a long time since I've had 5.
But one is a quarter horse baby.
Yeah, the one's a quarter horse.
Yeah, but still, you got to take care of it. Yeah.
And,
Hoping that the quarter horse we can breed back maybe depending on what we get. We'll see what comes of that one.
Right. And then put that, see, that's true breeders trying to put that back into the program already. So.
Well,
It'd
we can
be
do it.
pretty sweet if we could get a Willie Wild back in. So.
Yeah.
it's out of the quarter horse making me really wild.
Right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing pictures of that one. You guys always show me pictures. Kathy always breaks out her phone, and I get to see these. And because I remember seeing pictures of this filly we're looking at now when she was a baby, and you're like,
Which
wait till
filly?
you see that. That's Minnie Mouse. You said, wait till you see this one. She was just a little baby. I don't know where you showed me, Tulsa or somewhere, or, And every time I see you, you show me all your prospects, and then it's really cool when I see them live. It's even better. So,
Well, we've had fun with it.
Yep, you guys have had fun. You done well. So, all right, you guys the boys got anything to add? Did we cover stuff?
Yeah, you covered it all. Just really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being on here, guys. Thanks for taking time on a Tuesday night. And now people can watch this. You guys can tell people to go on POA History, and it'll pop up. It'll be pinned to the top after tonight, so they can watch this video and look at pictures and follow along. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being on here.
You're welcome.
Kathy, Mike, Brandon, and Tyler. the Barringers. Good job, guys. Thanks for being on here. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, that was, let me get back on here. That was the Barringer family from Decatur, Illinois, Mike and Kathy, and their two sons, Brandon and Tyler, who seem like they're still very interested in POAs. They have, as you've seen all the pictures and the stories, a very storied career in POAs. Like they said, it's not 100 horses and 1,000 acres or a section of land. They've done it all on 10 acres and 2 or 3 babies a year. Mike alluded to they're having 5 babies next year, which is going to be the most they've had in quite a while. So just check those guys out for some prospects, because I know they're going to have some available. I really like that filly, Mighty Mouse. I can't wait to see her full brother. So Minnie Mouse is her name, and by Mighty Mouse, of course, the well-known quarter horse. So watch for Mickey Mouse, their yearling, coming up next year. He's colored similar with a little bigger blanket. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode tonight. This was episode 65, the Barringer family from Illinois. I'm not sure if we'll be doing a show in the next couple weeks or not. I had a few guests kind of fall through and a few things happening. I'm working on some very big projects, some not related to POA, that are kind of time consuming, plus working a normal job too. So, and then I have my wife's puppy Stella that you guys met in Illinois that I'm helping taking care of. So, she's a full-time job, that little puppy. So, but she's cute. Everywhere we go, people stop. We'll be at a truck stop or Buc-ee's or side of the road at a rest area this last weekend, and a guy just walked up to Monica. What is that? What kind of dog is that? So Stella's been a pretty cool addition to our life. So thank you everybody for watching. Thanks again to Mike and Kathy, Brandon and Tyler for taking time out. See you again next time we meet on a Tuesday night on my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond. Enjoy the song, everyone. Thanks.